My name is Matthew Lambert. I'm a third, fourth grade special education teacher for Woodward Public Schools. And this is my presentation on parental rights in special education. First of all, let's consider some definitions here. The Oklahoma State Department of Education is OSDE, SES, Special Education Services, the IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Act, the IEP, Individual Education Program, and the FAPE, the Free Appropriate Public Education for All. So let's keep those in mind as I continue with the presentation. Now, the parents must have every right to their child's education. Parental Rights tells us, in fact, this right of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their children predates the court itself. It is a right that was already understood and acknowledged long before the United States came to be. Steps of the parental rights in the state of Oklahoma. Number one, procedural safeguards. Every parent should receive a copy of them prior to any decision, and they explain the process and rights for every parent. And then the prior written notice is step number two. The school must provide a prior written notice defining any changes the school plans to initiate or refuse, and then the details of the notice. This will say what the action of the school is, the explanation, why we're doing this, the other options that we went through to describe those options, the description of the evaluation procedures, what is going to be tested on, what is the child going to undergo in the process, and then finally a statement for the parents just outlining everything the school plans to do and initiate. The steps if consent is given. Number one, the meeting notice. A meeting notice will be sent informing parents of the meeting date and time, whether it be for initial testing or placement review, it's always sent. Number two, the consent is given. The testing will be initiated and completed. The additional meeting to review all data, and then we'll finally draft the IEP. The number three, the entire IEP team will meet and discuss the plan that's been drafted, and it'll remain in draft form until all parties agree, and then at that time, it will be finalized. If consent is not given, the first step, every parent has that right to obtain an independent evaluation for their child, and they have a right to access their records. The legalities, they can file a due process complaint, they can request for a mediation hearing, and they always have the opportunity for a hearing. And in the due process, if that's the complaint, the parents in the school system will meet together and they will resolve the complaints in order to satisfy all parties involved. So those are just the steps if consent is not given and what the school and the parents' responsibilities are. Finally, I wanted to leave you with all families will have equitable access to excellent public education opportunities, that all families will have connection to knowledge surrounding the school navigation, and they'll feel more comfortable. In conclusion, I want to remind you that collaboration is the key to ultimate student success. Parental rights should be held to high regard, and this can be accomplished with the entire special education teams work together to ensure the greatest success and lifelong learning for the student. Finally, these are my references that I utilized in the presentation. Thank you.
Created using Powtoon.